Good evening. It is Tuesday evening, January 6th, 2026. Geez, 2026, yay. New year, new opportunities, huh? We can look at it as uh, we're all deconditioning our mind. It's an opportunity to decondition from these habits, whatever habits we seem to have. But the common habit that we all have is thinking. But anyway, I'm Glenda Carlin, and welcome to our weekly A Course in Miracles and Tibetan Buddhist Zoom meeting each Tuesday night, 7 to 8 Eastern, right now, Standard Time. Welcome, God Liz, Christ Buddha Liz. Welcome, Christ Buddha Lynn, Christ Buddha D, Christ Buddha Debbie. Now we're just getting everything. Now, right now, you're not muted, Debbie. I'm not sure if it's going to affect the sound here. But anyway, it's okay. It's not affecting the sound. The topic of tonight's teaching is nowness awareness has awakened. Here comes Ed for me. Let's wait for Ed to get in here. I saw you coming in, Ed, so I'll start again here. Tonight's topic of discussion is nowness awareness is awakened for me. Now, I'll start off right off the bat. Let me tell you, I never, ever knew what nowness awareness ever the hell meant. Never. And but I knew enough in this email I write about practices where awareness. I listen to podcasts, etc., about cultivating awareness, panoramic panoramic awareness. Awareness is curative. And hallelujah, thank you, Jesus and Buddha, that within this last year in particular, I chose to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness of, when I'm eating, am I aware that I'm eating, or am I thinking about what I'm going to do later? And typically, my mind was always somewhere else. Wasn't aware of that I was eating or what I was eating or etc. Get done eating and you wonder, oh, now what did I eat? Or you drive somewhere and you wonder, how did I get there? That's because the mind was not present in the moment, in the now. But see, don't beat yourself up about it, nor think you're the only one doing it. This is human life. Human life is always this mind, this awareness. This awareness is not present in the now, meaning I'm aware I'm talking. I'm aware my hands are moving. It's not always been that way. So there'll be some practices I talk about, but nowness awareness has awakened. And what that means is I'm aware of what is going on in my mind. At the same time, I'm aware of what's going on out here in front of my face. And I'm no longer having to concentrate on it. The practice of cultivating awareness, I guess, gained enough momentum that it flipped it into being present 100% of the time. I am not kidding. It's so shocking to me when I wrote in my email, it was so shocking to me. I would walk around and go, I'm aware of what's going on in my mind. I'm aware I'm walking while my hands are by my, beside my leg, or I'm aware of the furnace comes on. I'm aware of there's a sound, another sound, or a sight. It was this panoramic awareness. I never knew what that meant, but it means this awareness takes in everything all at once. It's just taking it all in because, um, well, it's awakened. Ordinary awareness is things are separate. And my attention, my awareness would focus on individual items when I look back on it. Never did it take it in all at once. And that's because as I'm talking, I realize that's because this non I suspended my attention within non-dual awareness. I was practicing that for a few weeks. And what happens then, the feeling and the vision is of not being separate, of seeing the clear light in everything as I see the things are moving and the clear light are not separate. Now, how I can explain this is I went to a birthday party last Saturday in my old neighborhood out in Melbourne, where my old house was that my late husband and I had for like 35 years. And my neighbor that lived 3 houses north Mabel and she and her twin sister Rhoda had a birthday party for their mother, 90 years old, and invited me to come out. And 5 of her 6 children were there. And then there was a subcontractor from the neighborhood also came. And what I want to remember to get to is how the sky looked later. But as I want to talk about this party, how I knew that something had shifted was there was a gentleman there that I had hired as a subcontractor that did excavating work on my property. And along with another man, I'm talking heavy equipment. We're not talking little tiny uh, machines with a small, what is it, like a bucket on the front of it. We're talking the big dudes, the big machine, because they dug a pond for me, enlarged another pond, uh, moved dirt to elevate the road. I forget, a foot. The property all got raised, also about a foot, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, the subcontractor lied to me and said I didn't need any permits from the city for them to do all this work. And I believed him. Then, see, that's not my typical nature. I usually call and ask, hey, do I need a permit for this? Well, one of my neighbors turned me in, and I resulted in it going to the city of Melbourne, having to work all this stuff out, right? And I ended up, meantime, before this, I didn't know it, but this heavy piece of equipment drove on the septic system in the backyard. I had told him my septic system, I showed him where it was, but heck, I didn't think about it. They drove equipment and collapsed these pipes in it, and it failed. Now, granted, it was older, so it's probably going to fail at some time. Now, here's the deal. I called my attorney and I want to know if I could sue these guys because my damages are $15,000, $20,000. And he explained it would cost me more, that or more, to sue. So I ate it. But here's the deal. I thought of this later. Guess what? That's karma, cause and effect. So it dawned on me as I was writing this, putting it in the email, I probably in another lifetime took advantage of that guy in another lifetime. So or if it wasn't him, it was some other people. And that's karma coming back, right? Well, thankfully, I was practicing A Course in Miracles, and he lived in the neighborhood, and I would think about he was spirit when I'd see his vehicle go by. I'd be out walking, and there'd be his vehicle. Well, that's karma too, He showed up in front of my face. Time to practice seeing. At that point, I didn't know about Trechet. This was 2018 or so. I didn't know about Trechet, seeing through, being through, but I sure as hell knew about it. Jesus's advanced forgiveness of looking beyond the body to the clear light of spirit. Long story short, folks, that guy arrived at that party. I'm in the living room talking to the mom, the 90-year-old mom. He comes in and he's talking to Mabel and then the mom. And I'm looking at him and I see the clear light of spirit without even having to do it. I saw the clear light of spirit he was. But I'm not kidding. It shocked me. It shocked me later when I was talking to my sister, who I can talk to stuff like this about. I said, whoa, I know my practice is working. Because I didn't react. I didn't react. I didn't need to, I wasn't standing there in that living room rehashing anything. Only reason I'm bringing this stuff up is to give you a backstory about karma and about, forgiveness. That's why things show up in front of your face, whether they're good or bad. We want to see through them, be through them, see the clear light of spirit. And when we do that, guess what? In a split second, just thinking about them as spirit or Jesus or Buddha or God, I love you. In that split second, you are in the now. I'm not kidding you. I had no idea the magnitude of what I was practicing until now that I'm on the other side and this nowness awareness has showed up. I see how it all built on itself. But if I hadn't been practicing, how the heck could it build on itself? So, because I talk, it's like in a day, I'm looking through, seeing through current now 30, 40, 50 times a day. Back then, I'd be lucky to remember to do it 3 times a day. But we put sticky notes around just reminding yourself. But the thing is, just a delightful party, just delightful. And so then when I left, as I was leaving, I was sitting in my car and I looked out the windshield and there was this sky, a blue sky with clouds, big clouds. But I looked at the sky and I went, there's something different here. Everything was closer. It was closer. And I thought, I didn't think much of it. Didn't think much of it. Then I started the car and I got out on US 1 highway. And because it's 4-lane and open, I'm looking out the windshield. I am not kidding you. It was like I could reach my hand up and touch the sky and touch the clouds. I was like not freaking out, but I was like, what is going on here? And it dawned on me. This practice of mindfulness or suspending my attention within non-dual awareness, practicing forgiveness and Trechet, where I was feeling not separate. I'd be at the health club and not feel separate from the machines or the people and look out and see clear light everywhere, practicing seeing the light in everyone and everything. But I was seeing that things weren't separate anymore. But yeah, okay, yes, I see that. But me seeing through my windshield that the clouds and sky were like I could reach up and touch them, it dawned on me what's going on. Time and distance are collapsing for this awareness. It's shifting from ordinary distance and time into the timeless of nowness and of no distance. Everything was together, the cars, the buildings, but it was the closeness that I'm trying to convey, because it means my mind's not seeing things as separate. It means they come closer to me, meaning because I practice that circle of purity, where the great ray, when it comes in the top of my head, down the spine, and then goes up the spine, there's a circle. There's a circle, and that circle, I see it that breath, my breath, and this light energy have joined to make this circle. And within that, that's the circle of purity, where during meditation I will bring in our sangha members, the different countries, the planet Earth, and they automatically go within this circle. And this circle, it's come, the light and breath go together, come down, and then they go up, and it's a circle. And the things come in and they go, but when they're in that circle, they're getting healed from the thought of separation, but I'm getting healed from the thought of separation because I'm bringing these things into this circle of purity on purpose, consciously doing it, have done it for years. Well, that has built on itself because that's not separation. I'm not thinking things are separate, but I realize it's affected the unconscious mind because the closeness of the sky and the clouds. Oh my. Um, but yet this nowness awareness hadn't shifted totally like it did. Let me think here. It was the fourth Sunday. Is I have a beloved friend that's an enlightened being, and they were doing some work, spiritual work, and I decided to help them. And so I joined my great ray with their great ray, and this circle that I talk about, that the great ray that comes in top of my head, goes down my spine, then turns at the bottom of the spine and comes up. I, with my mind, took my attention and sent my great ray out to their great ray that comes. Mine got injected at the bottom of their spine and joined their great ray, and together we had two great rays rotating between us. And because they were helping this group of people, the first time I was leaned back in my living room chair, I did it for 45 minutes. 45 minutes, leaned back in my chair, feeling this great ray, my great ray, join with theirs, because I knew on purpose I was injecting my great ray with their great ray to double their energy source. But they're enlightened, but heck, they can still use another. They can use a second great ray, right? When two or more are joined, right? But the thing is, it made me remember back in 2020, I attended a Zoom meeting, and the Zoom host at the end asked people to share what they really wanted to, what they saw their purpose in life was, or whatever, etc. Well, it came to me, I wanted to be a channel to send light and love out to all the beings. That's what I said. I wanted to be a channel. Hey, that's 2020. Look at here, January 4th, 2026. I'm sitting in my chair. I lean myself back in the chair. I lean Glenda's body back. Glenda's body was back. It was just an empty vessel, an empty channel. The great ray comes in, goes around my spine, and off it goes into this being, and then circulates back to source, goes down my spine, back to them. One big circle's going between us. I was a channel. Now, it's just a fact, but it kind of blew me away because I did that for 45 minutes, and I had a movie going on the TV, a documentary about Freddie Mercury with rock band Queen. I love that guy. His voice, his songs, his enthusiasm, I was listening to that documentary. The thing is, this body was a vessel. The great ray's doing its thing. And I'm watching the documentary. Sometimes and other times I'm fully aware. I don't know. I'm aware the great ray's doing its thing because I can feel it. When it comes down and I inject that great ray in that other person, it goes wham. There's a movement. An injection in, goes around, injection in, goes around. Well, I do believe that. Oh, and then that was 45 minutes. The next time it was off and on 2 hours. This is last Sunday. I sat in my chair and did that with this being, for this being. and in essence was helping the people that he was helping indirectly. But I believe that shifted this awareness to nowness awareness. Now, what that means, and I don't know, and I apologize, I can't do justice to this because I'm still getting used to it. It means I'm fully aware of what's going on in my mind and what this body is doing and what's going on around me all at once. It's all going. And so therefore I'm in the now. And now when I'm not in the now, when the mind or awareness, when awareness wants to go off, I caught it going off to think there were some thoughts that would go on my mind. For example, one of my neighbors, his little dog Pookie, a little black small shiatzu dog, he was telling me about the other day. He was told two garage lights were out, and he decided to go get light bulbs and replace them in the condos here. And he went out his door, down the elevator, out to the garage, and he looked down, and there was his little dog. The little thing's maybe 4 pounds or 5, small little dog. That dog had run real fast, and this had never happened to him before. It had run real fast out the door, followed him, got in the elevator, was in the elevator with him, went down the elevator, got out of the elevator with him, and went walking in front of the garages. He looked down, there's his dog. Well, now that tells you something about mindfulness too, right? Because he wasn't really aware he got out that door, right? But anyway, he's going to be mindful now. That little dog usually it's on a leash, but it stayed right with him. Well, I forget when it was. I think it could have been this morning when I was laying in bed when I was um, contemplating this thing about nowness awareness. The thought came of that little dog, and automatically, unlike immediately, I was aware that the mind was thinking, excuse me, about that little dog. Immediately when I became aware of the thoughts, they got liberated. They were gone. Simply, that's called awareness is curative. But first, I had to be aware the mind was doing that. Now, when I was asleep, if I'd had thoughts like that, sure as heck, my mind, my awareness, ordinary awareness, would have gone off with those thoughts about that dog, because I love that little dog. And I would have been thinking about that dog for a few minutes, maybe 5 or more, etc. And probably other random thoughts could show up about when maybe Toby, my little Toby Shih Tzu dog, had wandered off one time, because that's what this egoic ordinary mind does. It glues similar stories together to make long chains of thoughts that our awareness goes and gets lost in these chains of discursive memories, thoughts, etc. But not now. Now, that's why we practice in meditation, being aware when we're meditating, when the mind or your awareness wanders off to these things in the future or the past. And it's called the leash of mindfulness, like a leash on a dog. You bring your mind or awareness back to center, back to spaciousness within your mind, or sky-like nature of mind, or the sky if you're sky gazing, or to the breath. Get you back centered. And then maybe it could be 5-10 minutes later, you realize, oh, dang, I'm lost again. I'm off with some more thoughts. Or I fell asleep. I wasn't even aware in the moment, wasn't even present in the moment to be awake and alert. And you bring the leash of mindfulness, you can bring yourself back. Back to center, back to breath, back to spaciousness, back to clear light, thinking about God, etc. In that moment, you are in the now. That's another building of the now moment, nowness. And then you become, the mind wanders off again. Because I realized what's happened when we're asleep. When we're asleep, the six senses, the mind's one of the sixth sense, thinking mind, but sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, these are called stimuli, sensations. So awareness, ordinary awareness, it is like a bumper car. You've been in a theme park and ever been in a bumper car? Bumper cars, there's no steering of them. You're just bumping one thing after another. The bumping causes the movement of the bumper cars. Well, that's what's happening with your awareness and your mind is, so the awareness, you have a thought, and then your awareness, it goes, bumps and goes off with that thought. Then there's a sound and bump, you're in the bumper car, bump, you come back, you're bumping with that sound. And when that sound, if it's a train sound, you're thinking, oh, that's a loud train sound. Wonder where that train is going today. Well, that's thinking about the train. That's except then bump, there's a smell, and bump, your awareness is off going with the smell. So don't you see what's happening? It's a whole bumper car going on within this head. Bump, I'm off with a sound. Bump, I'm off with a thought. Bump, I'm off with a smell. Bump, I'm off with a feeling. Bump, I'm off with you get it, but I didn't get it. I didn't get what that Lama Surrey Doss was trying to teach. I'm not kidding you. Thankfully, I did pay enough attention to start to be mindful of what I was doing while I was doing it. I did catch on after a bit. Just stop and don't and question and see if that's not true. Just see if it's not a bumper car you're riding in, or you're on a gerbil wheel. You're just chasing this action, some habit that's in your mind, like a family memory or a family argument or a family something. You just, before you know it, you're on the gerbil wheel, rehashing, running, chasing, being with that thought, that memory. And you got to stop and get off. Just stop, take a breath, breathe, smile, and relax, and get off the turbo wheel. And that moment you do that, guess what? You're in the now. And the breathe, smile, and relax, breathe. There's a second there when the body relaxes, you're in the now. It's totally relaxed. Your body's relaxed. And you're not thinking of any of these six senses of a thought or a sound or a sight. You're just being. You've just relaxed. In the now. So I realized I was trying to practice being 100% fully present with whatever I was doing while I was doing it. And that's when I would catch and be aware I wasn't present. But until I started trying to practice being 100% fully present with a conversation if you're standing having a conversation with somebody, being fully present with them. But you'll catch your mind wanders off. Maybe they say something reminds you of some memory, and your mind, that's just how the mind operates, is going to go and think about that memory. And you're going to catch yourself probably and then come back. Oh, what were they saying? It's really fascinating about how, I realized when I was driving down to that birthday party, or I go drive to, whenever I get in the car, go to the health club, I'm asking myself, remember, you want to keep your mind in the car. And before I know it, when I start to back out of the garage, if I'm not careful, the mind starts thinking about what I'm going to do when I'm at the health club. Well, that's not in the now. So I bring my attention back to my hands are on the steering wheel, my bottom's in the seat, my mind's in the car. And then before you know, before I turn and go to go out to the street, the mind's thinking another thought of, oh, there's a Subway up there. You want to stop and get a sandwich? Now, but now what's different with nowness awareness is I've got the choice. I've got a choice. So when that thought comes up, you want a Subway sandwich, I can say to myself, I'll think about that later or whatever. I mean, I'll think about that, whenever, instead of me sitting, driving my car, thinking about the multitude of types of sandwiches at Subway, which is my attention, my awareness is not in the car, not fully present, seeing that some dog's going to jump out or a squirrel across the street and cross the street, and I want to stop, fully present in my car. You get the point, but this is so habitual, you don't know you're doing it. And so I said to Jesus, I said, thank you, Jesus, for keeping me safe. Because before this last year, I've been mindlessly driving. Yeah, I'm lucky I've not been in a bunch of accidents. Now, of course, there's no accident because the accident's caused because I'm damn mindless, not present in the moment. Could have slammed on my brakes to stop hitting a car or doing whatever, etc. Oh, so the difference now with nowness awareness is I got a choice because these thoughts that now come that go through the mind, they're not always egoic thoughts. They're Holy Spirit or your higher Christ Buddha nature giving you guidance, giving you guidance and of things to practice for forgiveness on. For example, I forget when it was a meditation. It's in the email. Again, that little I was born on a farm in Southwest Missouri, and one of the things my parents did for a livelihood was raise these little chicks from little 1 day old yellow chicks to 6 or 8 weeks old, and they became the chickens you go buy in the grocery store. But as small little chicks, my twin and I, the little chicks were short. They couldn't get their beaks. Their legs weren't tall enough yet to get their beaks into these buckets that had the food. So we put together cardboard trays, little flat trays that laid on the straw, and we would need to put feed in the trays. And picture in one chicken house or one chicken building, there's 10,000 little chicks. Now there's 13,500, etc. There was a total of 37,000 little chicks. So picture we're walking in among the little chicks. And normally they disperse and you walk, but sometimes a little chick will come back, cross the path, and darn, before you know it, I will have stepped on the little chick and squished it. And its little skin busts, and you see blood in their little guts. They're dead. They're dead. Do you know in the last few months, that little chick's come up 3 times, and it came up again this last week. And of course, I sat with it and telling the little chicks, "Oh, I'm so sorry. If I'd known better, I would have done better. I would have walked slower. I love you. You're spirit. You're the clear light of spirit. I love you. Please forgive me." But it dawned on me. This little chick that I killed represents, this is karma I'm talking about. That little chick represents the thousands, if not millions, of things I've killed in all my lifetimes. Now, picture, I believe in reincarnation. I don't know if I've had 1,000 lifetimes or 1,000,000 of them. Because picture because reincarnation includes bugs, ants. I don't know if ants live 1 day or a week, but hey, if I'm an ant and live a week, whoa, what's that in a year? I mean, uh, so, and so the thing is, if I killed a bunch of ants, that in a heartbeat, that could be 1,000 living beings. You get the point. The point is, this little chick, I felt a slight cringe when Holy Spirit brought that image of that little chick up in during meditation. And I know it's to practice forgiveness. So, of course, I am. And I've made a note because I need to practice some more because it's representative of all the things I've killed and harmed in all my lifetimes. I want to practice forgiveness on all that. And remember, one thing I teach is think back about not just this lifetime, but that in all the lifetimes I was present as a Viking, a Mongolian, and went in probably the Christian Crusades, you know, all these wars between the Indians and the white man and blah blah blah, the Civil War. It's just natural. We kill each other. These things happen because we go to war with our families, etc. Um, and cleaning up karma to the point that now nowness awareness, I am one with my karma in that these obscurations that have clogged the central channel, the yin and yang channel, all these meridians, my heart, all the chakras, those were clogged up with these obscurations of judgments and harm in other people and other beings, insects, animals, etc., through all these lifetimes. This forgiveness work isn't one for one. You practice forgiveness like on this, me and this little chick, it'll forgive a million of these harms that I did in other lifetimes, in this lifetime, inadvertently or knowingly. So these channels get opened up. And when they're open, like when I sat in my chair and now this body, this vessel is an open channel, the insides are no longer clogged with these judgment thoughts and obscurations. The wind moves through them. This great ray coming in and going out, the yin and yang, expanding and contracting, my breath expanding and contracting. These movements cause winds within all the channels. And if there's nothing obstructing the channels, the winds move freely. And all these thoughts and sensations from the six senses, they move freely. They come, self-arise and self-liberate freely. That's the state of nowness awareness. And that's the state of openness and liberation and freedom. No longer automatically reacting and gluing my awareness onto memories or thoughts of the future, or automatically judging, labeling, sorting, evaluating things as good and bad, which the ordinary awareness does automatically. It just automatically does that. But freedom, liberation comes with this awareness of nowness awareness. The body as a vessel is open and clean, and the clear light and the breath and energy are moving together, all moving together. And that's then that, and with me having the choice as to which thoughts or sensations am I going to be with. I choose to be with, a sound or a song, like the sound of a song. I was listening to the Bee Gees earlier. And within that, there were all kinds of Whitney Houston and fabulous singers of that time period. But some of them would hit these high notes. And it was like immediately my mind, my awareness, nowness awareness, it was just completely open with this high note. And I felt like I was in the presence of God, that's what we're awakening to, is being 100% fully present, aware that God's clear light is here now. But I cried because I felt the presence of God here right now. It's like, wow, This is what we want to awaken to. Is God's presence is always here. We're just not aware of it. The mind's elsewhere. That's why I'm talking about cultivating awareness, centering the awareness and the mind back to the center, back aligned vertically with this invisible great ray that energizes your body to be present. Oh, now not final, let's see the time. The thing is, what got me thinking about this awareness was it's all holy guidance. You can see these thoughts that come through the mind. There's random egoic thoughts, then there's Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, the enlightened beings, I don't know, give you holy thoughts. I got the thought, I'm not kidding you, to open this book called The Snow Lion's Turquoise Mane. And it's the wisdom tales from Tibet from Lama Surya Das. Now I've got I probably have 20 books lined up around my chairs. There's a bunch, 20 more over here by this desk. This book, I had it out because one day this last week, I was wanting to thank the enlightened beings for helping us all. And so I wanted the names of some of these enlightened beings. So I wrote them in an email. In that email I sent y'all, I went through these stories. These are tales, Tibetan wisdom tales from Tibet. The Snow Lion's Turquoise Mane is the name of the book. And the tales are tales spoken by enlightened beings. And so I would go through, like Longchenpa, Milarepa, Manjusri, the Buddha, Naropa, just all, because sometimes a person can wonder, well, how many enlightened beings are there? Well, this book has tales from many of them. So I was writing down their names. And as I was going through the book to find these names, oh, wait. So I went through the book and I did that. Then I laid the book down beside my recliner, and it came to me to open that book and see where it opens to. Haven't you done that before? Well, I opened this book and it opened to page 132. 132. And then don't you know what you all learned is then you really are watchful. Where do your eyes land? Well, my eyes landed on this, let's see where this sentence here. There is no external Buddha worth worshiping. The innate wakefulness of intrinsic awareness is one's primordial nature. Oh, wait, that wasn't it. That came later. Here's the line that it fell on. Intrinsic wakefulness is the main point, my son. Simply try to maintain lucid awareness of intrinsic awareness itself, the natural state of being. There's no other Buddha. I read that several times and I went, I never thought about that. Intrinsic awareness is the natural state of being. And I sat with that. And I realized this is true. So see what this did. I forget if this was January 2nd. Simply try to maintain lucid awareness of intrinsic awareness itself, the natural state of being. I sat with that. And what occurred was I realized nowness awareness is the authentic Buddha within. Could be said the authentic Christ within. Nowness awareness. Because nowness is this moment, this only moment. Then there's only this moment. The other times, past, present, and future, are the three times of time, space, and distance. Those are the ordinary awareness, the asleep awareness, the asleep Buddha, Christ mind. It dawned on me that now this is for me, I've been calling awareness mind, awake the Christ Buddha mind. Awareness, this nowness awareness, is cognizant, it's called cognizant. That means it's aware of itself. Now, in my time with this Dzogchen in the beginning and for 3 years, early 3 years, they'd talk about awareness being aware of itself. And I go, yeah, right. Well, this is something you want to sit with. Awareness, aware of itself. I remember the first time awareness became aware of itself. I was sitting in some Zoom meeting, and the host, the guru, said, "Turn awareness upon itself." And when he said it, real fast, my body showed up in front of my face, and my face looked right into my face and went within my head to see clear light. And awareness turn awareness back on itself. Awareness saw itself. Clear light is what awareness is. Aware of. Your innate, awakened awareness is aware of its purity. Its purity shows up as clear light. And it's aware of itself. It's aware that it knows all these things, that it knows everything, and that it's the creative force behind all creation. I'm not kidding. Nowness awareness is the creative force behind everything. It is cognizant, and within it, it's creative. That is what the mind, and Course in Miracles, I opened the Course in Miracles clarification of terms, reading the word mind. The term mind is used to represent the activating agent of spirit, supplying its creative energy. Well, activating agent of spirit. Well, the Course doesn't get into awareness in finite detail. It gets you so far. But what I'm talking about here is your innate, what your essence is. Nowness awareness. It's aware of everything. It's the creative force. It's this inner creative energy behind everything. It's this clear light. And it got the idea to compress that clear light down in that great ray tube to create vibrating particles. And then I used to say that it created a dualistic mind, but that's not true. It didn't need an inner mind. I've corrected that. It didn't need an inner mind. This nowness awareness is the powerful force behind everything. It doesn't need any. It's God. You can call it God mind, but it's God. It's awareness. It's God. It's everything. This creative force couldn't experience purity. It only knew it. So it created form to put its awareness inside so it could feel these six senses, experience these six senses. It could experience thinking about clear light. Thinking is clear light, is nowness awareness. Thinking is clear light created thinking. It's Sight is clear light seeing. It's created by vibrating light particles, these senses. Clear light is hearing, is smell. It's just vibrating light particles that awareness is within and experiencing its clear light expressing different ways through sound, through sights, through smells, through taste, through touch. It's experiencing itself within a form. Before, it was simply purity, aware of its purity. Oh, gee. Oh, but anyway, I want to read this. It's called this tail is called a rainbow body in Manikengo. Why I'm really wanting to read it too is this is talking about they call him an old codger, a servant, a carver of mani prayer stones. You know that mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum? That's my favorite. He would carve Om Mani Padme Hum, each letter on stones, on rocks. And I knew when I was reading this, every time he carved a letter, the vibration of that letter was touching his heart, mind, and body to awaken his awareness. That's the power of Om Mani Padme Hum. This man carved that into rocks and made one time, piled the rocks with all the Om Mani Padme Hum etched in it to make a stupa, piled a bunch of rocks. But anyway, he was just an old codger. Nobody thought much of him. He was a servant and for a wealthy family, it said. But in middle age, see, I'm now, bless my heart, I'll be 75 years old next April. And I started, well, what is this? Dzogchen 2020, let's say 6 years, 69 years old. 69. I was an old lady. Found Trechin, meditation, the Sangha, the Buddha, the Dharma, and already had A Course in Miracles. Now I'm an old codger. But in middle age, this guy, he left that position to receive meditation instruction. So why I'm explaining this, you're never too old to learn. At some monastery. And after that, it says he eked out a meager living by carving the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum on these rocks. Though he worked all day, he spent these nights in contemplation, sleeping only 2 or 3 hours. Poor and simple, he had a small family. He helped everyone in need, and his humble abode was at times open to pilgrims and beggars. Now, I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying that's what this guy was. But here's one of the punchlines. While carrying out his daily work, the old man continued his spiritual practice, integrating meditation with activity through continuous mindfulness. Now, see, that's what I'm asking y'all to do. And that's what I have been doing for these 6 years, wholeheartedly, these 6 years, is integrating my spiritual practice with my daily life, being mindful of what I'm doing while I'm doing it. I'm not kidding. Are you mindful when you're walking through your living room, feeling your foot on the floor? Are you mindful of when your AC or furnace comes on? Is your mind in your car while you're driving? Mindfulness while you're doing something. But anyway, this guy had a monk son who would talk to him about doing other things, and he'd go, you need basically just do what he wanted, which was integrating meditation with activity through continuous mindfulness. And his son would ask him something, and that's when he told him, was telling his son, simply try to maintain lucid. Lucid means awake, aware, awareness of intrinsic awareness. Become aware of your awareness. Awareness means you're aware you're looking at something. You're aware you're hearing something. You're aware you're watching TV. You're just not mindlessly doing something. You're aware you're doing it. I'm really just shocked how asleep I was my whole life up to about a year ago. But anyway, so anyway, but this guy got sick. He got sick. And his son was telling him to do some things, and here's his reply about practice. He read, "Son, I have forgotten religion. Anyway, there's nothing to remember. All is illusionary. Yet I'm happy. Everything is perfect." Because, see, even though you're aware of what you're doing while you're doing it, you're also aware these are illusionary images. Your body, all these objects, images, they're illusionary. They're like drawings in air. They're, in essence, like quantum physics says, vibrating particles of light and space. They're not solid forms. They sure look like it. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Go and harm yourself. Don't walk out in front of a car. Take care of yourself. But they sure look solid, but they're vibrating light particles. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I realized. I know these things are illusionary and don't exist, but yet I'm fine with that. I fought that for years. I would cry every time I thought about, these things aren't really there. I'd stop and cry. They're not there. I love all those things. I can't give up this stuff. Well, you don't have to give up anything. Your awareness changes where you're not attached to the stuff anymore. You're, or you become aware when you feel attached to something and you let go. Just let go, let it be. But anyway, this gentleman got sick, he died. But before he died, he said, "When I die, don't move my body for 6 days." So they did what he said. They wrapped his body. Oh, and it says here, uh, while this was going on, they wrapped his body. The people noticed that although the old man had been tall, the body now seemed to have become smaller. At the same time, a rainbow was observed above the house. 6 days later, the man had passed. They looked into the small room. The body had continued to shrink. This body was shrinking within this shroud or cloth they put it in. A cremation was arranged for the morning of the 8th day. On that day, when the shroud was undone, they found nothing inside except fingernails and hair. Everyone was astounded. No one could have entered the room and removed the body, for the room was kept locked. When the old man's son asked Dzongsar, Khyentse Rinpoche, the abbot of the local monastery, about this matter, he said that such things had happened before to Dzogchen masters. See, this old codger man had been practicing this secret Dzogchen of seeing through, being through all the images that he could think to do it, being mindful of what he was doing as he etched the Om Mani Padme Hum letters in those rocks. He was in the moment. He became a Dzogchen master. The corporal form of the saintly old man had been transformed into radiant luminosity, the clear light of Dharmakaya, an enlightened state of essential beings. This was the true significance of the remarkable occurrence. And this Mr. Khyentse says, there's no doubt about it. The old man had achieved in a single lifetime the legendary rainbow light body. So he says, thus even today, enlightened masters live discreetly among us, having perfectly mingled profound spirituality with their daily lives, their inner accomplishments rarely perceived. Old codger in a village became a Dzogchen master, unbeknownst to anybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. I hope this has been of help to you. I really appreciate you all coming out, bringing your spirit and your light and your love to this group. What a wonderful group we have. It's just so wonderful. I appreciate it deeply. Thank you. Let's look around the screen and practice our Jesus' advanced forgiveness and treated, seeing through, being through these images to see their clear light nature or think about their clear light nature. And that clear light, where our purity is so pure, it shows up as clear light. Nowness awareness in the now is our awareness of our clear light nature. That this clear light nature, that awareness, that nowness awareness created the five elements to make density of these vibrating light particles into varying five element density, and then use this density of winds and they call it soil or sand or earth, air, fire, water to form this body. But anyway, our bodies are vibrating light particles of varying densities of frequencies. But anyway, so there's Christ Buddha Liz, Christ Buddha Lynn, Christ Buddha Ed, Christ Buddha Debit, Christ Buddha D, Christ Buddha Glenda, those that listen to this later. It's not just us, all beings, natural state is this purity, this clear light. They're just not aware of it. Too busy in the thinking mind, thinking about thoughts of the future, thoughts of the past, and the thoughts in the present is when we're just aware of these solid forms, sorting things good and bad. Talking to somebody in the present, thinking in good and bad thoughts, evaluating things. Nowness awareness is beyond this thinking mind, beyond duality. It's purity, and that knows everything's created from the pure light. We're all the same. It's all pure light, no matter what it looks like. Darkness is even light. It's just a condensed, compressed, real tightly compressed, clear light. Any thoughts or comments before I stop the recording? There's Debbie. Good night, sweet Buddha, she says. Thank you, Debbie, for coming out. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Okay, I'm going to stop. And there's Lynn. Lynn saying bye. They can stay in chat.
Bye.
Oh, Lynn was saying bye. Bye, Lynn. Bye. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Stop.
Sweet.